'Twas a cold winter's night, and without any heat, I wore Bombas socks so they'd warm up my feet. Yay, my feet cried, these socks are the best. So cushy and warm, I can finally rest. But don't rest, I said, there's more if you please. Bombas also makes underwear, slippers, and tees. And for each thing you purchase, they donate one new to someone who needs it so they're cozy too. Everybody deserves to feel good all the time, so gift Bombas this season. That's the end of this rhyme. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase.
Hey, my name is Senior Airman Fletcher Fleetwood. I'd like to say hi to my mom, dad, sisters, girlfriend, all back home.
Heartfelt holiday greetings, whether you're serving at home or abroad, from Navy Federal Credit Union.
It's an eavesdropping taco. It's everything all rolled up.
Eavesdroppin'.
Well, Michelle, hello. It's that time of the week again. It's a Wednesday.
It bloody is. It's Wednesday. It's eavesdropping day.
Eavesdropping day.
Eavesdropping day. Wow.
It should be a national holiday. Forget the hump day, whatever that means. I've never got the gist of that. What does it mean?
What holiday?
The hump day. Happy hump day, they say. I think, what? What is that?
I don't know. It's like, are we all meant to go home and hump? Like, is that the hump day?
What if I'm not up for it? What if I'm not prepared?
Do you know what? We recently had a holiday here in the Switzerland, and I said, what day is it today? And they said, in German.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then somebody in German said to me, it is the day that Mary got pregnant without having sex.
What? The conception day.
And I was like, oh, the Immaculate Conception Day. Okay, now I get it. It was a holiday, national holiday.
Wow, I've had 3 kids and I couldn't even work that out. That's some amazing maths and biology combined.
Yes, it is.
Hey, speaking of maths and biology.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's coming from. I think what I meant to say was, speaking of the Immaculate Conception, it's December.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, speaking of the Immaculate Conception, I'm Geordie and this is Michelle and you're listening to Eavesdroppin'.
Well, we could say that, but we could also say it's December and it's the Christmas month, which means bring on the jingles. 1, 2, 3. It's Christmas every Wednesday in December. Drop for me, so will you drop with me? Drop, drop, drop. Sexy Santa in a place to play. What a hoot! What a hoot! So there's your Christmas jingle. Get used to that because we've got another 2 of them to go before the end of the month. Apologies for last week's mashup episode where we did not put that in. Obviously, Michelle and I are chasing our tails, and that's why you had a little mash up. I hope you didn't mind that. Hope you enjoyed it. Blast from the past. We like to be reminded of things.
Yes, we do, because as I said in the episode, I don't fucking remember anything. So it's a joy to rehear things. And also, I'm still fucking going on about the same shit. Privacy. Roombas are listening to us. So, you know... Broken record. Sorry, guys.
In case we haven't said it, I know that we've said that you're Michelle and I'm Geordie, but this is Eavesdroppin', your weekly dose of comedy with storytelling. And each week we'll go from real life, true crime, supernatural, all those things get covered here. We like a murder. We like an alien. We like a witch.
Well, you like a fairy.
I do like a fairy.
Yes, you like a bit of folklore.
I do.
Do you know what? We do love a little bit of psychic stuff.
Oh, a psychic detective here and there. Don't mind it. Sometimes cannibalism comes up.
Yes, and a cult.
Always a cult. They're never-ending sources, those are. And all of our beautiful eavesdroppers, of which you are one if you're listening, they write in. They do. To hello@eavesdroppin podcast.com. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
They do. You'll find a way. There's links. Links are plenty. And Michelle, also on our Patreon, which is where you'll find all of our sources and extra rabbit holes to go down, plus the list of television recommendations. You do have to pay a penny, but it's worth it because you get fun times within and an extra dropping a month of us.
Yes, you do. And our Aussie patrons will most likely know the video I put up for last week.
Oh.
But for anyone who isn't Australian, you were probably watching Ostentatious and thinking, what the fuck is that?
What is that?
you remember that dodgy 80s comedian who...
No.
And look, it came up because we had talked about Mapataz.
Oh, yes, right.
And there was a comedian in the 80s who did this whole stand-up routine. It was played on Rage a lot.
Was it a song?
It was a stand-up comedy routine. And he was like, how much can a koala bear? I don't know. I'm going to go plat my puss. And it was just a platypus. And it was all that kind of thing. It was actually very
It sounds
clever.
like dad jokes.
No, it's very Australian. His name was Austin Tatius.
Right.
You were probably thinking, what the fuck is this? Australians are insane. Partly true.
Okay. Well, I'm in Australia right now, and I've got some television recommendations from my parents. I quizzed them at the dinner table. Are you ready?
The Bold and the Beautiful again?
Well, they didn't suggest that, but you know what? I've actually sat down and watched it. I have no idea what's going on. I saw the Thanksgiving episode yesterday, which was obviously delayed because they're slow in bringing it out. Nothing happened. There's just a lot of quizzical looks. You think, oh my God, who did they murder? They look like they've murdered someone. That quizzical look.
Again, for anyone on the Patreon, you will have been treated to the 80s iconic theme song from Bold and the
Oh,
Beautiful.
you put that on there as well.
I did find it and I put it
A lot
on.
of sax,
and
sexy
I was
sax.
absolutely right.
Wow.
It was a blast from the past. Gave me a smile
Oh.
from the inside out.
Well, listen, do you want to
Yes.
hear the Gronnies TV recommendations? Brace
Yes,
yourself.
please.
Okay. They have a couple. First of all, there was a film, something with cuckoo in the title. Oh, sorry.
New, old.
It's modern. I did a lot of
so
questioning.
it's not
I
One
did
Flew
ask,
Over the Cuckoo's
No, I asked
Nest?
all the questions, and this is what I got. Something with cuckoo
Okay.
in the title. It's modern. There's a lady. She has 3 little boys. Lots of swearing in it, but apparently that's normal these days. She dies at the end, and it's a bit sad. But they can't
Okay.
remember the name. So if anyone out there, if that's familiar, apparently it's just released. Mum's got a Chromecast. She casts it to the television.
Jen's got a Chromecast too.
Well done.
She casts away.
So listen, I'm going to put that out there to you guys out in the Eavesdroppin world. Maybe Charlene Happy Chappy or Safka or someone can help us out because I could not figure that out. Now, there's also a TV show. It's a 2-parter. That's all I've got. Because then we went off to some other conversation. So unfortunately, that's the TV Rex from the Gronnies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, you should watch this. I don't know what it's called and I don't know what it's about, but you should definitely watch it.
I'll try and record them in their own voices next time.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so that was that. But of course, Michelle, you and I have been watching telly too. I'm on the new season of Stranger Things only because my family are, and I have to catch up before I see them. Apparently 4 episodes are out and I've got to catch up. But Michelle, it's so damn frightening. I can't even get through a single episode.
It was very scary, but very engaging. And I thought, gosh, why did I stop watching this? This is very good.
You enjoyed it?
Although I did think, what's her name, 11? Why the fuck do they dress her the way they dress her?
Well, they're all dressed like that. They're all dressed wacky. The little girl was wearing some confection ensemble.
Yes, but she's fabulous. Oh my goodness. And it's terrifying. No spoilers, but I was very much enjoying those 4 episodes.
Also, what's with all the hair? The wigs are appalling. Apart from Winona Ryder, everyone's got shit hair.
Actually, Eavesdropper Steph said, I quite like her hair. I wouldn't mind getting that haircut. It is a good haircut.
Not Uma Thurman's daughter.
Who's Uma Thurman's daughter?
She's the radio show girl. Robin, her name is, the lesbian.
Oh, I can't fucking stand her. She was so annoying and such a bad actress.
Well, that's Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter. And the skinny little girl who's the journalist, the sister of one of the boys. Her hair is appalling. Nancy.
The curly wig.
Yeah, all the wigs, they're appalling.
They're not the best, are they? They've got budget. Why aren't they spending it on the wigs?
Because they've smashed it on the outfits. So talk to me, Michelle, about what you're watching. We're both watching it.
Pluribus.
Yeah.
Pluribus. And for anyone who doesn't know, Vince Gilligan, new show, he was the one who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, which was a fave of mine.
It's on Apple TV, and I think also something to do with the people who made Severance, which I think is incredible. A lot of people are Marmite on that one, but it's in the same kind of vein as that, I would say.
It's slow TV, And I love that, actually. I love that it's not cut, and fast talking and crazy dialogue.
But it's a mind bender. It makes you think.
It is a mind
And I've got to
bender.
say, Michelle, I think I've already figured out the lesson that the lead character needs to learn.
You see, I don't do that with TV shows.
I'm only 2 episodes in and I already know, I think. We'll see.
I've already gone to the end of the episodes that have been dropped. So you're behind me. How did that happen?
Well, because
Really
I've been
busy.
busy, thank you very much. But moving on, we also have Eavesdropper Wren, who got in touch to say that she has been picking up on all of our recommendations. She watches them all when they come out.
I fucking love that.
She's watching The Beast in Me, and she said she's not bothered by Claire Danes' chin acting. She says, doesn't even notice it. She says, yes, she's aged, but not in a plasticky way, which is good.
Yes, that is true.
The chin's fine.
Yes.
Let's not give the chin a hard time.
Well, I will say, Ren, you're absolutely right. She has aged, as have we all, and she just looks like a normal woman for her age. And really, applause for that, because so many do not want that. And Nicole Kidman, case in point. And so really, we should be looking to Claire Danes as a role model for all women.
Yeah.
Take it, embrace it, live it. But that chin, the chin just got me. I couldn't handle it. The wobbly chin. Claire Danes' chin acting.
I think she's always been famous for that.
Maybe. I don't know. It seems like it's kind of got a life of its own now.
Awkward. Orcs.
I just wanted to quickly thank all our eavesdroppers who supported none other than our very own Beacon twin, Jane Beacon, whose book, Poisoned Paradise, has actually come out now. It's off pre-order. You can purchase it. It's an absolute fucking romp, but kind of terrifying too. So, it's a thriller. She's even bloody got a recommendation from Rob Rinder on the cover. And if you know who he is, you know who he is. And it's a big deal.
Wow.
So she is doing brilliantly. So congrats, Jane. I hope it goes well.
Sounds to me like you don't know who he is by saying that.
Do you know who he is?
If you know, you know. Yeah, he's a TV show guy in England, and I think it was Judge Rob Rinder. He was TV judge.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but our Australian listeners will not know. He's also an author, and he's got a load of books out. He's a bestseller, and it's really wonderful that she has this fantastic recommendation from him. So really, all the best, Jane. We're totally 100% behind you.
We're pushing from the rear, Jane.
Yes, we are. I also want to give a shout out to none other than eavesdropper Zoe. For anyone who's on the Patreon, she did a fantastic interview with us about her book, The Note, which was a #1 bestseller on Amazon. She's a brilliant writer. Well, she's not only gone and written another bloody book, this time under a pseudonym.
Ooh.
She's called Victoria Prince. She's basically the next Jilly Cooper.
Oh, my God.
It's a bonk buster. It is sexy stuff. And
Zoe.
guess what it's called? You'll never guess.
What?
Inspired by yours truly.
Yeah.
Not really by me, but where I am in the world.
Yeah.
It's called The Chalet Girl.
Ah.
Oh.
So more trips to visit you for research.
I bloody hope so. But look, like I said, support an eavesdropper. It is the perfect stocking stuffer for Christmas because it is, no, really, it's literally a ride.
Yeah.
Victoria Prince, Chalet Girl, check it out.
Sexy times.
Sexy.
So, Michelle, are we ready to dive into this week's episode?
Please, what you got for me?
Well, this week, it's kind of a conspiracy. It's kind of a missing person. It's kind of rock and roll. It's kind of science, all wrapped up into one.
Wow, that is a taco of eavesdropping.
It's a taco.
It's an eavesdropping taco. It's everything
Yes.
all rolled up.
I'm looking into the disappearance and death of Philip Taylor Kramer. Haven't heard of him? Do you know the band Iron Butterfly?
No.
He was the bassist turned aerospace engineer who, depending on which rabbit hole you prefer, may have been working on faster than light communication, exposing secrets in the OJ Simpson case, or murdered by shadowy forces who dumped his minivan in a Malibu canyon. Spoilers, but let me start by telling you who he is.
Iron Butterfly. I feel like I do know this band. What era?
The 60s, 70s. Yeah.
Yes, I have heard of them. What's their big hit?
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, baby. Is that it?
I'm not sure. I think so. I did listen to it once. There's a 17-minute version of that song. It's a psychedelic anthem, the soundtrack to all those Vietnam War movie montages. And he joined them in 1974 when he was 22 years old as the bass player. But more about Philip Taylor Kramer. Everyone just called him Taylor, so I'm going to call him Taylor from now on. He was born in 1952 in Youngstown, Ohio. And unlike your average future rock musician, 12-year-old Taylor was working very hard on his school science project, which was building a working laser that was strong enough to pop a balloon. He was a little 1960s Poindexter with a death ray, bless him.
Okay.
Obviously, he won his school science fair with that.
Yeah, like full nerd, but amazing.
A death ray. Psst, pop. That was what he did at 12. I can't imagine my 12-year-old doing that. His dad was Ray Kramer. He was a professor of electrical engineering. So science ran in the family, Michelle. Dad Ray spent most of his career trying to disprove Albert Einstein's theories, and he was convinced he'd cracked what he called his universal theory, which is a sort of cosmic cheat code that would surpass the supposed limits of time and space. And in his mind, his theory would let humans like zip across galaxies in the blink of an eye, that sort of thing. A lot of people didn't believe it. Conspiracy forums are all excited about it. It's queer stuff, odd stuff.
I have to say, you have to be pretty confident in your own intelligence to want to disprove Einstein.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So this is giving you an idea of these kind of guys' level of intelligence, confidence, commitment. Yeah?
Yep.
So under Dad Ray's influence, Taylor soaked up maths and physics the way most kids collect Matchbox cars.
Right.
Fast forward to the 70s, he's in Iron Butterfly, and he played on 2 of their albums, toured with the band, and lived that rock and roll life. So this isn't your typical musician story ending in drugs, groupies and heartbreak, Michelle. No, because as you've probably figured out, Taylor had brains for days. And after leaving the band, he went back to school and back to his love of science. And he earned a degree in aerospace engineering before going to work briefly for the US Department of Defense.
Government.
By the 90s, Taylor was involved in pioneering work on something called fractal compression, which is a method for compressing digital images. So I'm thinking JPEGs, stuff like that. I don't know. Facial recognition was another thing he worked on, and also video tech for CD-ROMs. And he started a company which counted Randy Jackson as an investor in the company. So I'm talking about Randy of the Jackson 5, brother of Michael. Yes. More connections. But Taylor also had another passion project, which he inherited from his dad. He was also trying to disprove Einstein, who said faster than light communication couldn't be done, but these guys are putting their hand at making it so. He called it superluminal communication, and that's the hypothetical process where information is sent at faster than light speeds. Sounds a bit like the internet. Current consensus is that faster than light communication is not possible, and to date it hasn't been achieved in any experiment. But by late 1994, Taylor's company, which was called Total Multimedia, had gone into bankruptcy. And even though he stayed on at the company, all of Taylor's friends said he was just devastated for this. It was a nightmare. It was his life's work, and he was really sad and upset, maybe a little depressed.
And broke.
Well, he was still working for the company. He spent years on the technology, and the investors all took over, pushed him to the sidelines. The board also brought on board this so-called transformational CEO named Peter Olson, who was really into spiritual enlightenment. And as such, he made sure that the entire boardroom and the whole company were involved in his corporate mysticism. Okay. All the staff were told to read the Celestine Prophecy, which was a best-selling book at the time about raising your vibration. And Taylor was even inspired to start vibrating at a higher frequency. And apparently at that frequency, one could communicate with aliens. And you can receive cryptic messages from your shaman and communicate telepathically and things.
Okay.
So it's a thing. But around this time, Taylor started telling friends and family that people were after him. They were threatening him. He told his dad, and his dad said that Taylor had told me a long time before there were people bothering him. they wanted what he was doing, and some of them threatened him. He once told me that if I ever say I'm going to kill myself, don't believe it one bit. I'll be needing help. Foreshadowing.
Oh, my God. This is horrible.
I know. But whether it's paranoia, don't forget he's been experimenting with all sorts of spirituality and things alongside his science. And he did work for the US Department of Defense for a bit. Or if he was actually legitimately scared, we'll just never know, because things got stranger, Michelle.
Okay, stranger things.
Stranger things. Taylor had been hired. I couldn't find who actually hired him, but someone on the OJ Simpson trial hired Taylor's company, Taylor specifically, back in the 90s. I think maybe the FBI was one of the people who actually got him on board to analyze video evidence for the Simpson trial. According to several articles and interviews, Taylor believed the tape that the authorities had, and I don't know which tape this is, he believes it was doctored long before, fake news and AI.
Yep.
So just a quick summary of what I've told you already. We've got this genius tuning into a higher vibration. He's working on cutting edge tech. He's involved in the biggest trial in America, and now he says he's being threatened. Right? Pin that.
Okay. It doesn't sound unlikely, to be honest.
Well, it's a lot, and it's been over decades,
Yeah,
but
okay.
just to digitally compress that, like Taylor might do if he was still with us. The night before his disappearance on February the 11th, 1995, Kramer told a friend, I have to be very, very careful because people are going to want what I'm working on. We have to get off the planet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The next day was February 12th, and Taylor left home in his van, a Ford Aerostar, sounds amazing, to pick up one of his investors in the company, one of those guys that took over the company, actually, Greg Martini, his name was, and Greg's wife from LAX. I know, great name. They had planned to just hang out for the evening and relax at Taylor's place. However, Taylor called his wife from the road and said that his plans had changed and that there was a big surprise for her.
Huh.
Weird, she thought. But whatever,
I'll take a surprise.
Exactly. Well, not the surprise that she got wasn't so great, because Taylor still, despite not picking up Greg and his wife, spent 45 minutes at the airport wandering around for reasons that nobody ever discovered. CCTV wasn't available or was never released publicly, but the authorities do know that he was there. Then, during the drive away from, I suppose, he made a bunch of emotional phone calls. And I'm wondering, this is 95. Do we have mobiles? Yeah, we have the bricks back then.
Yep.
First, he rang his old Iron Butterfly bandmate, drummer Ron Bushy, and left this haunting voicemail that said, Bush, I love you more than life itself. Bushy later told Unsolved Mysteries that Taylor's voice sounded distressed, shaky, and like he'd been crying.
Shit.
Not what you'd expect from a bloke who'd been on a career high just days earlier, because he was really excited about what he was working on.
Yeah.
Then he made another phone call to his wife saying, whatever happens, I'll always be with you.
Oh.
Very haunting.
Yeah. But also, last words, these are all last words.
Yeah.
Phone calls.
It is kind of like deeply distraught and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of, this is my last goodbye kind of thing. Yeah. Taylor then called his lawyer, followed by his business partner. And then after hanging up from another 911 call, he just vanished. No more phone activity. No credit card trail. Nothing. It was like someone just pulled the plug on his entire life.
Or if he was kidnapped, he was like, please give me a moment to say my goodbyes.
Maybe, Michelle. But he called 911 a couple of times and said he was in trouble. No, he said that he was going to kill himself. That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to hear more before I have theories.
Yeah. So Taylor didn't actually have a known history of mental health issues at this time. There was no diagnosis, no psychologist involved in his life, nothing that would explain a dramatic downward spiral such as this. But in the weeks leading up to this, he seemed almost euphoric. He'd been telling his wife and his sister Kathy that he was about to crack some revolutionary tech that could identify a missing child in seconds using nothing but a tiny sliver of an image. This is what Kathy, his sister, told Unsolved Mysteries, that he genuinely believed this discovery would save lives. And it was a really exciting time for Taylor, but his family say that he had been working non-stop and hadn't slept properly for like 2 weeks beforehand.
Okay, that's really interesting because recently I spoke to a friend whose brother had been working round the clock And he had a psychotic break from sleep deprivation.
Very possible.
So this could be something that's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. It does hold water for sure. Also, the day before he disappeared, he and his wife Jennifer went for a hike. She saw something had shifted in him. She said he started seeing the sacredness in everything. He even stopped to point out a wooden cross on a hill that was like some sort of cosmic sign. And Jennifer later blamed it on the fact that he hadn't slept properly in ages and his mind was running too fast. I would say to Jennifer, why the fuck are you walking up mountains? If that guy hadn't slept, take a nap.
Yeah.
Take a fucking nap.
Say, mate, we're not going on a hike.
Not victim blaming.
No,
not blaming.
but it's like, mate, we're not going on a hike. You're taking 2 Valium and
have a little lie down.
having a lie down, mate.
Yeah. So I mentioned that he made a couple of 911 calls, and what he actually said was, I'm going to kill myself, and I want everyone to know OJ Simpson is innocent. They did it.
What?
That his information that he got from the work that he did looking at the imagery, the video, he believes he was framed.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And people on conspiracy forums still argue about that. Like, who's they?
Yeah.
Was it the LAPD, the FBI, the mythical deep state, the company investors? Who?
And why?
And
That's
why?
the other big question.
Yeah. But after that final call, we'll never know because he
No.
vanished after that. And in the weeks after his disappearance, there had been a couple of possible sightings that started to trickle in. One person said they saw him in a pawn shop in Canoga Park. I don't know where that is. Another woman claims she spotted him browsing at a garage sale. But nothing was concrete. There was no CCTV, no receipts, no actual proof. And he was quite visible because this guy was 6'5",
Right.
blonde, big guy.
Okay, so he sticks out in a crowd.
You'd know him if you saw
Whereas
him.
me, I can slip under people's...
No one would see you if you were standing next to them.
Absolutely not. You know, I can slip by. I don't have to
Slip through a crack in the pavement.
go through your legs. Nutmeg.
Nutmeg?
Yeah.
What's nutmeg? Is that a game?
It's a soccer term where you kick a ball and it goes through their legs.
I've never heard nutmeg. I've never heard Beckham shout, nutmeg.
Oh, do you
On
know
the
what?
pitch.
If I'm wrong, please write in.
Madness. Some people think he might have slipped into a fugue state, wandering around with no idea who he was, like this lack of sleep, like you said, you know, it can really affect you mentally.
It's powerful.
And that's the theory that kind of gets thrown around a lot in cases like these. And like I said, he was enormous, 6'5". He's not someone who just melts into the crowd or slips into a crack in the pavement like you, Michelle. If he'd been ambling around pawn shops and garage sales in a daze, you'd think more people would have noticed.
Yeah.
His story turned into a nationwide news shout out. He was on America's Most Wanted, Unsolved Mysteries, and Oprah. His family were incredibly active in trying to find him, and Dad Ray was convinced from day one Taylor had been targeted.
Right.
They even got this wacky congressman called James Trafficant involved, who was famous for his flamboyant personality and his corruption charges, and occasionally trying to fight the FBI. So I think they feel that they were on the wrong side of authority and needed to get people to shout and make a fuss and quite conspiratorial. He pushed the FBI twice to investigate Taylor's disappearance more deeply. They did assist the local sheriff's office, but officially they said there wasn't enough evidence of foul play to open a full investigation. Meanwhile, those conspiracy theories started to multiply. In 1996, Skeptic magazine had a piece that reported claims that Taylor had been working on military-level technology and that his faster-than-light research made him a target, plus his OJ Simpson analysis threatened someone powerful.
Okay.
They wanted him gone. And on Coast to Coast AM, which is the holy grail of late-night weird radio, we've often used them as a source on this show, there was a kind of psychic remote viewer guy called Ed Dames who got on and told Taylor's sister that he believed Taylor was murdered, buried, then dug up, then moved to Montana, and then dissolved by water.
What?
Why did you say dissolved, Ed? That's nasty.
No, that doesn't sound good. And it doesn't sound real. I don't know. I'm poo-pooing that.
He's been dissolved. Then, cut to 4 years later, Michelle. 4 years. 1999, May 29th. There are two photographers hiking in the bottom of Decker Canyon, which is a steep, twisting ravine near Malibu. They were looking for old car smashes and wrecks to shoot. That was their thing. They were taking photographs of. Mm-hmm. They stumbled across an aerospace van.
Oh.
And inside was the skeletal remains of Taylor.
Verified.
verified.
Fuck.
The coroner ruled it was probably suicide based on the van's trajectory off the cliff and the injuries that the remains had sustained.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets tricky. Decker Canyon is rugged. The van had been driven deliberately down a long, steep drop, which indicates it could be suicide, but it also could be staged.
Yes. A rock on the accelerator pedal.
Yeah.
We've all seen it.
We've all seen that in film, but we can't remember what it's called.
On a telly movie, yes.
It's modern and it's quite sad at the end. Taylor's father instantly rejected the suicide ruling, of course, because he'd been warned by Taylor so many times.
Yes.
You know, he said, if I ever say I'm going to kill myself, don't believe it. Additionally, the position of the van looked to some online sleuths kind of placed and too perfect.
Yeah, but why did it take 4 years to be discovered, you know?
Who knows? Because they didn't know where the guy was, where he would be.
Yep.
There was a poster, like an online poster on an early Iron Butterfly fan forum that claimed the local residents often heard cars going off the canyon at night, suggesting that this wasn't an uncommon thing. And of course, the photographers were down there because they know there's going to be car crashes down there they wanted to photograph. But another poster had said that the specific location where Taylor's van was found wasn't accessible unless you knew a precise turn-off point. So nothing's conclusive and everything's feeling off and everybody's questioning it. There's a lot of intriguing theories that center on this whole story, plus his work on faster-than-light communication.
Yeah.
You know, he believed he'd cracked part of the problem that Einstein said was impossible. And maybe that drew dangerous attention to him. There's a tech forum archive from the early 2000s with lots of people posting with speculation that Taylor might have had a prototype algorithm that the military wanted. There's also people claiming that key tapes from the OJ Simpson trial had been digitally altered. And like I said, you know, this is before deep fakes and Photoshop. This info would have been mind-blowing at the time.
If it was real.
Yeah, if it was real. But if it wasn't, it still shows that Tyler was under enormous pressure.
Yeah.
Here's a basic explanation of what people think. Taylor's company collapsed. Investors fought for control. Money disappeared. Lawsuits were brewing. People have done far worse for far less, Michelle.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the main theories. Suicide, which was the official ruling. He was depressed, stressed, frightened, financially ruined. He drove off the canyon. End of story. The second theory is he was murdered by them, you know, this shadowy group that Taylor was referencing. Like, could they be his investors? He was going to meet one that day. Were they government agents? Was it someone connected to the OJ trial? This is the Coast to Coast AM version, which is very X-Filesy. Then there's the third theory, a mental breakdown leading to accidental death. Maybe he panicked, he fled, he got lost, he crashed, not intentional, not murder, not suicide, just tragic. Or the fourth theory, which was that he was trying to disappear. Some people think that Taylor was trying to escape threats or pressure. He hid in the canyon, he died of exposure, and the van was only found years later. Hid? How did you hide? Like by flying off the edge of a... No, I don't know if that's a good one.
That's what I was going to say. It's like if he drove off the edge of a cliff, that's not hiding. That's I want to die.
But what do you think? It's probably just a messy combo of the whole thing.
Yeah, but I do tend to believe when somebody says to their father
that he'd never kill themselves.
I will never kill myself. And if this happens,
people are after me.
There is foul play here. People are after me. I feel watched. I think you can't discount that.
No.
That's what resonates kind of hardest for me.
Yeah, it borders between tragedy and conspiracy. It's just enough of reality to make you kind of go, ah. But this guy, Philip Taylor Kramer, he's a genuine one-off. He's a psychedelic rock bassist who could also build lasers, so he's
fucking amazing.
One of a kind, yeah. He's designing missile guidance systems when he worked at the US Defense, and early compression technology. He's a pioneer. He was straddling worlds of music, science, fringe physics, and celebrity scandal. And all these worlds kind of swallowed him up. So even though his van was found and his remains were found eventually, thank God, we still haven't found the truth.
No.
I guess it's speculation only.
Wow. What a story. So much in that. I mean, he was zeitgeisty. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
He had a finger in every single industry. Musicians, part of the biggest case of the day. Plus, he's doing lasers and military shit. This guy.
Very busy guy, but he was born into it.
Smart.
Yeah.
You know, so smart. I think there's something more to this. I do. Based purely on what you've told me. So...
Which is obviously, well, I'm going to send you some links, Michelle. You can post them up on our Patreon. Patreon?
Oh, God, now you're making me hungry. A little croissant.
I know. Am I hungry? Why am I saying pastries?
I don't know. A Patreon. I think we could do that. Maybe we should have a Patreon little wall where you can
a
write
cronut.
Yeah, a cronut. Write in with your favourite pastries. Pastries for thought there.
Conspiracy. I think conspiracy.
Hey! You want to pay just $10 for your phone service at Boost Mobile? Just $10 for your phone service at Boost Mobile? Yeah! I totally do!
This holiday, the best gift is for you. Pay just $10 a month for the first 2 months, then $25 a month forever with unlimited data, talk, and text. Offer valid at boostmobile.com. After your first 2 months, you'll pay $25 a month unless you go online or call to cancel. Requires autopay.
Studies show that 100% of everybody in the world wants to curl up indoors and do nothing because it's so darn cold out there. That's why many people are turning to Bombas, whose pillowy plush slippers and warm merino wool socks have been said to be the most comfortable in the history of feet. Bombas products have been found to boost coziness by up to 1,000,000%. Okay, enough fake statistics, but could Bombas socks and slippers really be the cure? Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
Similar theme, actually. I don't remember how I found this story, but it is a story that could only have happened now, in the age of the internet. I'm going to keep you hanging on that a little bit and take you back to February 1975, to the middle of winter in Ohio, where 3 teenage boys are out wandering through a park down by the Rocky River. That's what it's really called.
The Rocky. Is it Rocky? I suppose. Who knows?
Rocky River.
Say what you see.
Yeah. Near a place called Strongsville. And they were just messing around, chucking rocks at the ice, you know, just doing kid stuff, when one of the boys spotted something odd poking out from under a pile of branches. So at first they thought, oh, it's an animal. But they get a closer look and they realise it's a skull.
Oh.
And it's a human skull, Geordie.
Oh, I've got one of those in my garage.
Oh,
I don't like
God,
it.
No, it's not good. That's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
It is terrifying. I mean, it just reminds me of that crematory story I said, where people thought it was like a little skull, like a fake one for Halloween, but it's real.
People kicking about a human skull. Oh.
I know, but well, of course, these kids were freaked out.
Okay.
So they just legged out home and they told their parents, and pretty soon the police went to the park at Rocky River.
Yeah.
They start, like, you know, going through the mud and snow, and of course, they find stuff.
What, more than the skull?
Yeah, they find bones that were half buried and gnawed by animals. But they pretty quickly realised these bones are definitely human. They're definitely female. And they were definitely not recent. And the bones were in a bad way. You know, the skull was weathered, the jawbone was gone, and most of the teeth were missing. But there were 5 left on that skull, plus 1 wisdom tooth that hadn't come down yet. And, most telling of all, there was a small hole in the left temple of that skull with a .22 caliber bullet still lodged in it.
Yeah.
So straight away, this whole thing is ruled a homicide because clearly someone has shot this woman in the head and then dumped her body in the park. So you think that this would make front page of at least the local newspaper, right?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, you've got a body in the woods with 3 kids finding this murder scene, barely got a mention. And that was kind of it. You know, it was forgotten by the public. Investigators, though, were still on it. And on the very little they had to go on, they came to the conclusion from those bones that this woman was young, probably in her late teens or early 20s. They thought she was white and petite But that was it. And of course, you know, they did all the normal stuff like check the local missing persons reports. They did dental records on those 5 teeth. They even compared the skull to photos of Patty Hearst,
who had been missing.
At that point had been kidnapped, in California. And she was all over the news. So they just didn't have any leads as to who this might be because there were no dental matches. Obviously, there's nothing like car or clothing. There's no jewelry. There's no sign of who this woman might be. Yeah. But one guy did come forward. It was a guy called Michael Pagano, because he'd seen a small TV news segment about the remains of an unidentified woman discovered near Strongsville. And it kind of hit a nerve with him because his little sister, 17-year-old Linda Pagano, had vanished the year before, kind of in the same region. So he rang the police and said, hey, do you think this could be my sister? And they were like, no.
Why? Because she's not.
This girl is older.
Right.
This girl is taller. And it's not a match.
Okay.
So he was like, okay, fuck, all right, not my sister. So after a few months, the whole trail goes cold on these bones. They've got no identity, no families coming forward. There's no leads. There's just wasn't much more they could do. So on the 15th of May, 1975, 3 months after she was found, the police just kind of arranged this quiet burial where the remains were buried in a field at the Memorial Gardens Cemetery in Strongsville in an unmarked grave with no ceremony. Obviously, no name, no headstone, no family, nothing. And that's it. Case is cold.
Wow.
It's done.
That's so sad.
I know. And the years pass by and the file gets boxed up, shoved into storage. Detectives who are on the case retire. All that evidence just gathers dust. And back then, before the internet, there was no national database in the USA for unidentified remains. There was no DNA matching. There were no digital records. Nothing was centralized. Yeah. So if a body turned up in one county and a girl went missing in a different county, pretty much that connection was never going to be made.
Oh, that's such a shame, honestly.
And it's kind of what happened here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this girl stays a Jane Doe. She's nameless.
Yeah.
The police report listed her as unknown white female bones. That was her name.
That is really tragic.
And over the decades, this case was just forgotten. Until almost 40 later.
40 laters?
Under 40 years later.
40 years later?
40 years later.
40.
2014, right?
Oh, my gosh.
I know. When a biology student called Christina Skates, who was studying at Cleveland State University, she was doing a bit of family genealogy research, and she was scrolling through cemetery listings, and she came across that phrase that I said before, unknown white female bones. And it had a date next to it, February 5th, 1975, and the location, Strongsville. And she was like, fuck, that's my hometown.
Oh.
And it freaked her out. And she could not stop thinking about those unknown white female bones. And she was asking herself all these questions like, who was she? Why was she buried like that? Why had nobody come forward to claim her? So she starts digging, and she spends days in the libraries looking at microfiche and microfilm.
Oh, yeah. Those were the days.
Those were the days. I remember the fucking microfiche. She was just trying to chase up any mention she could find of a woman's remains discovered near Rocky River. And there was basically nothing because, like I said before, it did not get media attention. Just a few kind of vague lines in old newspapers. So off her own bat, she starts contacting police departments, first in Cleveland, in Akron, and then the Cuyahoga, I hope I said that right, Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office. But it's slow. You know, some people don't reply. Others say the case files are sealed or that they've gone missing, even worse. or that she was going to have to file, formal requests, which would take forever. But then she gets through to a guy called Lieutenant John Silvis from the Cleveland Metroparks Police. And she's explaining what she's found and why it's kind of touched her. And Don Silvis listens. He thinks this girl is like onto something, and he takes her request seriously. And he kind of does what no one else was really going to do.
Yeah.
He gave her copies of the old case file that had crime scene photos, forensic notes, reports that had not seen the light of day since the 70s.
Wonderful.
So Christina sits there with these images all spread out in front of her, looking at the pics of this muddy skull, pictures of those bone fragments, photos showing where they'd been found, and she spends weeks poring over everything and cross-checking whatever information she had with public databases. Pretty soon she hits a wall because there's just nothing out there to help her find out who this woman is. Then in 2016, she decides, fuck it, I'm going to share what I've found online. So she logs into Reddit, specifically the r/unresolved mysteries community, and she posts the details under the username Call Me Ice. I don't know why.
Huh?
That's her handle.
Okay.
She just lays everything out. The date, the location, the police notes, the fact that this woman's case seems to have fallen through the cracks. And the response, Geordie, is immediate. People from all over the internet, all over Tinternet, they start chiming in. That's a terrible accent.
Oh, my God.
Some are local, some are amateur detectives, and some are just really into old cases. Old cold cases particularly, and everyone kind of joins together and they're all trawling through newspaper archives. They're comparing missing person reports from the 70s, cross-checking everything. And then her post gets shared to websleuths.com, which is another online forum where retired police and forensic experts and true crime web sleuths can swap information on unsolved cases. And between these two sites, this full-on crowdsourced investigation kicks off. A 54-year-old guy called Carl Koppelman comes across the case. You might remember that name.
It is familiar, but I'm thinking of the cider right now.
He was, in one of my stories, he was in the Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter episode about Andrea Bowman.
Oh, yes.
And
right.
Carl helped solve the case.
Yes, yes.
Well, recap. Carl's a former accountant who, after he retired, discovered he had a real talent for creating facial reconstructions of unidentified victims. Got a knack for it. So he reads Christina's post and he's like, I need to help. Then he sees the condition of the skull. No jawbone, missing teeth, covered in mud. And he's like, not enough evidence here for me, because jaws are crucial to reconstructing a face, because without it, you're just kind of guessing.
You need Taylor Kramer's facial recognition.
Exactly.
That he was working on.
That these two stories like really connect.
Oh, we're connected, Michelle. We're psychic.
Carl just sits on this because he's like, there's just not enough here. But it haunts him. He can't stop thinking about it. And he just thinks, I'm going to give it a go. So he spends weeks working on a 3D digital model using whatever reference points he can. Skull measurements, forensic markers, FBI tissue depth data.
Gross.
Fuck, man, there's a lot of stuff out there. And he just kind of figures out where he thinks the missing jaw would have been, how the lips might have sat on
the face, on the teeth.
On the jaw, yeah, with teeth. And then just kind of figures out a general shape of her face. And when he's done, he gives this reconstruction soft brown hair and just fairly neutral features.
Wow, what a gift, this guy.
It's amazing. He looks at this image and he thinks, she looks real. Not like a composite, but like an actual person. And Geordie, I will say, I've seen the pic. It's really fucking good.
Wow.
So he gives this to Christina Skates and she shares Carl's reconstruction online. And suddenly you've kind of got a face to go with this mystery.
How amazing. That's more help than they've ever had in 40 years.
Really? And people are looking at this image that Carl has put together of this woman and wondering, who is this? But part of this mystery is she's fallen through the cracks basically because of a typo. We know that stuff like this happens. It gets even stranger because Carl, who helps so many people with his talent, he's working on another case a few months later, and he, out of the blue, because of this case, rings up the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's office to talk about this new case he's working on. And while he's on the phone, he says, oh yeah, and I was working on this other case, you know, these unidentified bones found in Strongsville. I find that hard to say. Strongsville, back in 1975. And the woman on the other end of the phone is like, oh, what bones? Because it turns out they have no record of this case in their system.
What?
Yeah, not a single mention. And Carl is like, what the fuck? They're my words, not Carl's words. He's baffled, right? He's baffled.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that, Michelle, because that's a bit foul-mouthed, Carl.
Foul-mouthed, Carl. Awful. But he is just thinking, how can a whole murder case just not exist in your database?
Yeah.
So he starts asking questions, and eventually someone works it out. There was a clerical error. And because of that, the Strongsville Jane Doe was never entered into the national database for missing and unidentified persons.
Oh.
It's the one called NAMUS, N-A-M-U-S.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Exactly. And it's the very system that's supposed to stop this kind of thing from happening.
Yeah.
So for years, her case just didn't exist. It wasn't there, which means even if someone had been looking for her, or even if there had been a missing persons report that matched perfectly, the system would never have found it. But once that's fixed and the case is properly entered, and with Carl's reconstruction also put into that case file, things begin moving quickly. And in December 2016, Sergeant Jeff Smith from the Akron Police Department makes a discovery while doing a routine search through NAMUS. So he's scrolling through entries when this one particular case catches his eye. A young woman found near Strongsville in 1975 with an estimated age of 17 to 20. And the timing and the location start ringing bells for him.
Yeah.
And he remembers an old missing persons report from that same year that he had recently glanced over. So he's like, fuck, I'm going to look this up. And the missing persons report was a girl called Linda Marie Pagano, who was 17 years old when she disappeared from Akron in early September 1974.
That's not the same girl that the guy came forward.
Yes. It's so fucking tragic,
no.
Geordie. It's so tragic. Because the more this guy reads, the more he's like, fuck, man, these details are just lining up. The timeline, the geography, the build, the height.
They just wafted him away and said, no.
Too tall.
Too old.
Too old.
Too tall.
Too young, too tall. This guy, this lovely Sergeant Jeff Smith, he is like going through all the stuff, and then he pulls up her photograph and he nearly falls off his fucking chair because she looks almost identical to Carl's digital reconstruction. Carl is a fucking genius.
Let's do a whole episode on Carl.
Carl, get in touch. I know you're listening.
Right in.
So after 44 years, Geordie, of being this unknown white female bones, this guy, Jeff Smith, Sergeant Jeff Smith, is pretty sure this woman from Strongsville is Linda Pagano. But, of course, they need proof because you can't just, check out a photo and go, that's it, solved. So the police track down Linda's siblings, Michael, who first made that inquiry all those years ago, and sister Cheryl.
Still alive?
Yep. They gather up all the old dental charts from Linda's teenage checkups. I mean, there's only 5 teeth and part of a wisdom tooth, and it's not enough. They need DNA. So they exhumed those bones, which sounds easy. Totally not, because those bones were buried in what was called a potter's field back in 1975. The records are sketchy, and a lot of the graves there are unmarked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's for homeless people generally, yeah.
Yep, and those plots were kind of sometimes recorded under nicknames or numbers.
Yeah.
But in October 2017, investigators bring in a team from the University of Akron who use magnetic surveying equipment and ground-penetrating radars to help map out where the graves are.
Wow.
And they dig. The first dig, they get the wrong body. But the second dig, they find the remains that were buried under the label unknown white female bones. They take samples, they send them off for DNA testing, where they do mitochondrial DNA testing, which is perfect actually apparently for old or degraded remains. And they compare samples and cheek swabs from Linda's siblings. Meanwhile, investigators are piecing together who Linda was. Born on April 11, 1957, youngest of 3 children. She was tiny, 4'10".
Oh my gosh.
Barely 45 kilos.
Smaller than you.
But apparently she had this huge personality. She was friendly and just really a nice girl who liked Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh.
And on the 31st of August 1974, she and her boyfriend Steve had gone to one of the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young gigs. And afterwards, she dropped in home. Then she drove home in the early hours of the morning back to her home where her stepfather, Byron Claflin, was waiting.
Oh.
Now, Byron was a bartender. He was known to be a bit of a booze hound and a bit rough.
Right.
And according to his own version of events, he said he argued with Linda for coming home late and told her to leave, get out. She apparently walked out of the house, and that was the last anyone ever saw of her. Her family thought she was staying with friends, maybe with the boyfriend for a few days, but when she didn't come back, her brother Michael rang the police to report her missing. The police just assumed she was a runaway and said it's not uncommon for teenagers to leave home after a fight, and that was that. No one was looking for her. And then when these bones were found, Michael rang the Strongsville police and said, my sister's missing. They, like we know and just talked about, they dismissed him.
Yeah.
Then on June 29, 2018, the DNA results from those bones finally came back and they were a match. And the identified woman from Strongsville was confirmed to be Linda Pagano.
Yeah.
So Christina Skates gets the news and she could not believe that this cold case had jumped out of her the day she was looking at that genealogy stuff. Finally got solved kind of because of her.
Yeah, well done, Christina. And the other guy, Carl.
And Carl,
yes.
I know, absolutely amazing. And finally the family were able to have a memorial and, you know, she was no longer the unknown white female bones.
But still, the question remains.
Who the fuck killed her?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, the big question and the big pointy finger was at the stepfather.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Because he's the obvious one. You know, he saw her alive.
He was the last one.
And, and he kicked her out of the house.
Yeah.
They argued. He died in 1990. So, Geordie, we are never going to know.
What an unsatisfactory ending.
I know. But there is a silver lining here because Linda's case kickstarted something really important because after they found who she was, Ohio's law enforcement agencies did audits and they found hundreds of cases that had slipped through the net, never entered into evidence.
Okay.
So they did get put on the system. So in some ways, Linda's case helped
many other families who...
Yeah, exactly.
Who'd lost hope of ever finding their loved one again.
Loved ones. So that is the case of Linda Pagano and amazing Christina Skates, who web sleuth is extraordinaire. Yeah. Without her, none of that ball would have been rolling.
Exactly. See, some web sleuths are helpful and
yes,
there for a reason. Thank you.
Exactly.
Oh, that's incredible. I think both those stories have left us with a bit of a scratchy, heady moment there. They're both mysteries. We're not going to know ever. You know, someone out there knows, maybe not. Maybe it was a stepfather for you. Maybe it was self-inflicted for for Taylor Kramer? Who knows?
We're never going to know. And it's unsatisfying.
Yeah.
But really interesting cases, both of them. And if you've got any thoughts, do write in.
Do write in. Well, thank you, Michelle, for a pre-Christmas episode. The next episode you'll hear will be our Christmas on Christmas Eve, in fact. So make sure you bring your eggnog, bring your mulled wine, bring your
bit of fruit
orange
cake
with all the bits of cloves stuffed in, bit of fruit cake.
Yep.
What's my mum going to make? I wonder. There's been sausage rolls made.
Oh, my God. Is she going to throw a prawn on the barbie?
No, I'll probably do that. I don't trust her with that. But she made some sausage rolls. I have some great ASMR vid. I maybe could post it to you if she agrees.
Okay.
Where she's mixing the sausage roll mix. It's quite
She's getting her hands
gloopy
right
sounding.
in there.
She got the hands in, yeah. Also, I've got some incredibly disturbing Christmas ornaments here at the family home from the 60s, 70s.
Can you photograph them, please?
I'm going to. So I think I'll send them to you. You can have them on the Patreon, but I'll also pop a few on the social media, which is Instagram, Eavesdroppin _ and Facebook, Eavesdroppin Podcast, I think.
Yes, it is.
Go and join and give us ticks and likes and follows and whatnot.
And tell your friends, tell your family, and send us your crazy Christmas ornaments if you have any.
Please.
I'd love to see them. I saw one the other day. It was, I don't know why it was in Switzerland, but it was a Santa. It's more Aussie. A Santa in sunnies with thongs on one of those blow-up pink flamingos.
Is that for your tree?
That's for your tree,
Nice.
yes.
Well, enjoy this final week of hilarity. And in the meantime, well, we know what to do, don't we?
Yes, there's only 3 things left to say.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Or whatever you do. Just keep eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping.
Dropping. Dropping.
Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping all day long. Eavesdropping. This is the song.
Drop it like it's hot.
There's talk in Washington about cuts to Medicare Advantage benefits that 35 million seniors count on. The No Up-Code Act would raise costs for seniors and reduce their benefits. The No Up-Code Act is a broken promise and a bad deal for seniors. Tell Congress, keep your promise and oppose cuts to Medicare. Vote no on the No Up-Code Act.
G'day USA, it's Tony here from the Tony and Ryan podcast. My best mate and I, we make a podcast together every day, daily laughs, but you don't have to take our word for it.
Ali listens to the show from North Carolina. Why should other people in the US listen to this podcast?
They're just going to make you laugh your ass off and make you be a better person, start your day off better, end your day off better. Whenever you listen to the podcast, you're just going to fall in love.
Oh, well, no one's ever said anything that nice before, so I love it.
I love it too. Listen to Tony and Ryan.